everyone.
Good morning.
Morning. It's nice to see you again.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you all doing? Good. You're on mute, some of you. Doing good?
Good.
Morning.
Good.
Cold.
Wonderful.
Hello.
Cold.
Hi.
Hello. It's lovely to see you. How are you enjoying the course?
Good.
Yeah?
Very much.
Oh, hey, Bob, you're on twice. I think you're logged in into two
I'll
different
get off
places.
again.
That was a resounding very much, though.
Yeah.
I wonder, I haven't been utilizing it as much as I'd like to, and I want to know if I can just occasionally send an email. If somebody would, things pop
Yeah.
up into my brain and questions.
With regard, oh, sorry, Sarah, you have questions? Yeah.
Well, that's what this Q&A is for. I thought I had it on my calendar wrong. I thought it was last Saturday, and I was really sad when I realized
No, you're
happening.
good.
But I mean, I guess I can save my questions for these Q&A sessions, right? I just wondered if,
Yeah.
like, in the middle of the week, if I was feeling like I had a
Yes.
question as part of this course, can I just send an
Yes,
email?
absolutely. Well,
Okay.
first, there's the forum. So for sure, and I think there's been some confusion as to how to use the forum because sometimes you can't see the comments until you click on the actual, if you click on a comment and then you see the responses. So, but you can also email course help at if you want to answer right away, but then you can also answer them here. But before we start, I was thinking, shall we do a little meditation? Little meditation. Oh, good. Okay. Hi, Charlene. Charlene and I go way back.
I'm sorry, it's a little loud here, so I muted myself, but let me know. If it's not too bad, I'll leave myself unmuted.
No worries. Okay, wonderful. So let's go ahead and just close our eyes. Or if you're not comfortable with eyes closed, you can just lower them. And just to bring our awareness inside for a moment. There's been probably a lot happening in our lives, on the planet. And just coming back to right here, right now, in this moment, all is well. In this moment, all is well. Let's keep our gaze lowered or our eyes closed. And we're just going to do a breathing exercise. We'll keep our left hand on our lap. We'll bring the right hand, the index, middle finger to the center of the eyebrows. Thumb rests on your right nostril and ring finger on the left nostril. So again, index and middle finger of the right hand to the center of the eyebrows, thumb on the right nostril, ring finger on the left. We'll take a normal breath in here. And then closing the right nostril, exhale on the left side. Full exhale. And then inhale on the left side again. Closing the left side, exhale on the right side. Long exhale. Inhale on the right side. Fill your lungs at the top. Hold. And exhale on the left side. Long, deep exhale. Inhale, left, deep breath in, closing the right nostril with your thumb. And then closing the left nostril with your ring finger, exhale on the right side. Inhale, right side, long, deep breath in. Closing the right side, exhale on the left. Inhale on the left, keeping the right blocked. And closing the left, exhale on the right. Long, deep exhale. Inhale, right side. Closing the right. Exhale, left. Deep breath in, left side. Closing the left, exhale, right. Inhale, right side. Closing the right and long, deep exhale on the left. And relax your hands, keeping the eyes closed. Relax the hands on your lap, palms facing upward. And just take some long, deep breaths here. Coming back to right here, right now. All is well. Any sounds you hear in your environment, welcome all the sounds. Accept all the sounds that you hear around you. Deep breath in with a smile. And let it go. Being grateful for this moment. Bring your awareness to the body. The feet that carry you all day. Just being grateful for these feet. The calf muscles. The knees. The thighs and hips. The abdomen. Lower back. Upper back and chest, the solar plexus. Relax the shoulders and the neck. The right fingers and hand. The right forearm and elbow. The right upper arm and shoulder. Relax the left fingers and hand, the left wrist and forearm, the left elbow, upper arm and shoulder. Relax the neck, the back of the head, the jaw. Relax the jaw, the cheeks, the nose and mouth. Relax the muscles around the eyes, the ears, the forehead, and the top of your head. The whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Deep breath in with a smile and let it go. Relax the whole body. Bring your awareness to any thoughts that are there. Pleasant or unpleasant thoughts, just welcome them all, embrace them. Accept and welcome all the thoughts with open arms. Just let them come. All are welcome. Be at ease with whatever thoughts are there. All are welcome. Bring your awareness to any feelings, emotions. Embrace and welcome all the feelings, pleasant or unpleasant. All are welcome. All are welcome. You are peace. You are joy. You are love. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Bring your awareness back to your body with gratitude for your body, for this moment. Breathe in through the nose, deep breath in. Breathe out for twice as long as you breathed in. And again, deep breath in. And breathe out for twice as long as you breathed in. And again, deepest breath of the day. And breathe out for twice as long as you breathed in. And bringing your awareness back to your body and your surroundings, you can roll your shoulders and neck if you wish, keeping your eyes closed. And notice how you feel. And then when you're ready, you can slowly open the eyes. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you all. I know we have about 100 people signed up for the course, and I always see, okay, who's going to come for the Q&A? It's so nice. We have almost 25 people. So how are you all doing? How is it going? How's the course going? What are questions you have? What are reactions? Like, what are we going to talk about today? Did you want to start, Sarah? You sound like you had a question.
I don't know if I have a specific question. I was just
Okay.
listening to your book. I have the book on Audible and there's just so many references back to chapter 4, which was, is that sovereign mind? Sovereign.
Yeah.
Anyway, everything made sense. So here's my, just, it's not a question, it's a comment. So I was telling my partner on the way up, who actually introduced me to you. So, but like,
Oh, nice.
just my general state of skepticism about categorizing people. Then the more I listen, you were talking about the the crusher and then the sacrificer and then the star. And I know we're all a little bit of each of those things. In the sovereign relationship chapter, you were talking about that. And so it's helpful to have categories, I guess. And it's very research based, so it's not like you're just but I don't know, I was relating to I mean, I put myself right in that category of the sacrificer and my ex-husband being the crusher. And I really want to be a star. But it sounds so Pollyanna, and that was a word too that you used in the book. Like, I know it's not all the time. Okay, I don't want to talk too much. I want everybody to have an opportunity to speak and share. And
Sarah, you're doing great. You're doing great, and I'm sure that other people have your question. And you know, that was one of my favorite research studies, the one about positively energizing leadership. I teach it at Yale to executives. It just makes so much sense. And I feel like for the last almost 35 years, there's been such an emphasis on this idea of energy vampires. Like everybody's like I'm in a toxic relationship, I'm in a toxic workplace, this and that. And I'm like, yes, those things can be true. And we know, but there's this other side that we're not exploring and talking about. And each one of us has that potential. I have a feeling every single one of you on the call is a star, and has that, you know, and the whole point of that chapter was to, how do I make sure that I fill my tank? Because you're already values driven, obviously, if you're in this course, but it's like, how do I fill my tank, take care of my mind so I can show up for others in a way where every interaction is an opportunity to uplift each other, you know, to be a light in this world, you know. And I've just been thinking about that a lot. There's so much emotion out there in the world right now, and there's so much heat going on, I think, in the world. And each one of us is a light, you know. Like I think about that song, the little kid song, like, this little light of mine. That's the truth. This little light of mine. Like, am I gonna let it shine? You know, and each one of us, I'm sure, already does. And like, how do I keep that light alive even when things feel challenging, you know? So it's and I think that's in a sense what this whole course is about too. This whole thing, when I access my sovereignty, when I take care of my mind, when I take care of my relationship with myself, when I take care of my relationship with my mind, with my emotions, then my light can shine brighter. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Sarah. Sana?
So I have a reflection. Thank you for this. It's very rewarding. Ever since I started this year with 1 week of digital detox, I've slowed down, and now this is being emphasized here. And I really, you know, do the lessons. I just stop and I'm just present, mindfulness a lot more. I've done mindfulness many years, but you know, I'm back on it.
Yeah.
But then, I think last week I started feeling like, shit, I don't get things done. Like I just want to sit around, and I feel quite low, and I was very tired. And then I actually realized I'm in grief, because I'm usually always the busy person running, doing stuff, and I've worked through a lot of stuff, and now I realize that slowing down like this and being more present, being in my body and not staying busy, then this massive grief has come. But in one way, I think it's good, because you know, grief goes through 9 stages and it will end. But it's just unexpected. And like last night, I slept 12 hours. What's going on? So it's sort of a reflection. I want to see if more people can relate to that. But doing this really intentionally, like the program, and slowing down, being present, brings out emotions. I suppose that needs to be cleared and healed, at least for me. I mean, this thing. And like, I don't know what's going to come next. I just have to be with the emotion, I suppose. Feel it, be there.
Sana, thank you for bringing that up. And, you know, I think that's why a lot of people have also trouble with meditation and things at first. You know, I know you've been meditating for many years, but slowing down, yes, things may come up for healing. And I think that's why sometimes a lot of people fear slowing down or meditating. But as you're healing, especially if you can have support, you know, whatever you need to support yourself through that is going to, on the other side of that, is probably going to be a lot more energy and you know, some of that stuff can keep us contained. I had this incredible conversation this week for one of the podcast series. A podcast is going to come out next. And it was really about that. We're talking about why is it so hard for people to slow down? So hard to be alone, even. There's many, you know, there's this, I think I mentioned the study in the book of how people would rather give themselves electric shocks than be alone. Do you remember that study? And nowadays you can just never be alone because you're also on your phone and you're always, you know, busy. But it's those moments that can be really healing. But like Senna, as you said, and I don't know if this is coming up for others, I definitely recommend having support through that. And also sometimes for meditation, that can be hard for people if trauma comes up. And so I definitely recommend doing some trauma work, or learning the sky breath meditation is one way also to, that can help. Susan? Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Where are you from? Where are you located?
So I am in Atlanta at the moment.
Okay.
I'm South African by birth and was raised there. I took your Yale
Yes.
leadership course actually, which was tremendous. And so when I got the email about this class, was very interested in joining this. So you have to forgive me. I'm really struggling. I think perhaps like Sana is saying, it's part grief, it's part, I don't know, anger, to the point where I signed up for this class last year and I thought it would be at the perfect time where I thought about transitioning in my role. I'm, as I wrote in my first essay, in the perfect, what I view as the perfect role for me. I work in human rights for a wonderful organization that I've admired for a long time, and it's just not turned out to be a great environment. So you mentioned, you know, most of us are in toxic relationships or workplaces, or many of us are, and it really is that. And so this course I signed up was going to be at this time of transition. I tried to slow down. In fact, I took FMLA to do a lot of self-care, really focus on myself, and I wanted to immerse myself in this class. And then all this stuff happened with USAID, and my husband works on USAID projects. And so for the past 3 weeks, it's just been constant barrage of information. I'm on one Signal group with 700 people. So, I mean, you can imagine, I'm so far behind in the course because I can't keep up with that.
Okay.
And I read your chapter last night about 20 gigabytes or 2,000 gigabytes, whatever, 20,000 gigabytes of
60,000, yeah.
60,000 gigabytes of data. And I feel like that's where I am. And I just feel
Yeah.
I have to go back to work now, to this toxic environment. And I wanted to leave my job. And now I can't because my husband might lose his job. I have 3 kids. And it just, and so I'm looking at your different, you know, the explanation of the energizers, you know, despite being a weeping fool right now, I'm normally you know, like a real energizer, I would say. I think I used to be a crusher, and then you probably pivot to the other side where you become a sacrificer, and now sort of, you know, trying to attain this idea of being the star. But now it just feels like I'm in defense, and I'm sorry. I meant to write you to ask you if I could take this course again at a later stage, because I'm just not sure that I'm engaging enough. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Susan,
Sorry.
yes, and yes to everything. Of course you can. And, you know, right now I would just take care of yourself, you know. It's just that's it. Like, just take care of you. There's these moments in life where that's, you know, you're just trying to make it day by day. And that's it. You don't have to go past module 1, which is just that relationship with ourselves. What do I need right now? I have to go to work. I have to take care of my 3 kids. I have to support my husband. And if I have 5 minutes, what am I doing to nourish myself? That's it. Just take care of you, Susan. I mean,
Yeah.
look, you showed up today, you showed up today. Some moments are just hard, and the
Mm,
only thing we can do is just be there for ourselves, nourish yourselves. Perhaps taking in all the media is not serving you,
no.
so if it's not serving you, that may be something you take off your plate and replace that with 20 minutes of meditation, of breathing, of taking a walk, of exercising,
Yeah.
whatever you need. I mean, as you know, I try not to involve myself too much with the media, but I have also paid more attention than usual in the last couple of weeks, just because, so much is happening so quickly here in the US. And I noticed, wow, like I can tell my state of mind hours later after looking at some
Mm,
headlines. 6 hours later, it's still processing. I'm like, you know what? This is not serving me. It's not
yeah.
serving. I mean, we have to each figure out what our own boundaries are. Someone may be able to consume 5 hours of that and be fine, but I know for myself, it's not serving me to be able to be at my best, so maybe I, stay aware, but not really good
Mm,
boundaries. But for you, Susan, you have limited time, and do the things that honor you. It's okay not to be on top of everything. We will find out about the things that are really important,
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care of
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. You have thank you for being here. Yeah. Pamela?
Hello.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Pamela. Where are you calling in from?
I am actually on a houseboat right now in
Wow.
Key West, Florida.
Oh, nice. I love it. Is it yours,
So,
or are you renting it?
oh, I'm renting it for sure. Renting it. So
Lovely.
we're kind of having a choppy day here with lots of wind. So I'm trying to find the right spot to sit and be able to, have some stasis. But I really enjoy this meeting today, and I'm absolutely getting so much out of your book. I can't tell you, and I'm thinking of so many friends that I want to give it to that could benefit as well. I did have a question about the sovereign relationships. There was one point you brought up, which I was hoping that you could maybe speak to. You said something to the effect of to be able to understand and identify when you're in a fear based mode as opposed to an intuition mode
Yeah.
in a relationship that you are not feeling stable in, or you have an event that is bringing up those feelings, and I guess to get some more input on how do you dial into knowing immediately your emotions, and what to do with all that, how to navigate that safely. Does that
Okay.
make
So
sense?
is your question like, how do you differentiate fear from intuition in a relationship?
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of hard to know, especially if that fear is also from something that perhaps happened in the past and you're worried it's
Right.
happening again. Is it an imprint that's coming, or is it and in relationships, often people show us who they are, right? So you may have I'll give you a personal example. As you saw, I just shared about being in a relationship that was very destructive. And then when I met my current husband at the beginning of that relationship, it was actually a relationship, but all my fear came up 100-fold. And I remember actually talking to a therapist about it, and he said, "Yeah, you're in a healthy relationship now, so it's all going to come up now." Basically, just a little bit like who was just sharing up her Santa was saying, "You slow down, and whoop, everything comes up for healing," And I was in this fear mode, and then, but also people show you who they are. And I remember my husband was like, I'll be right here. I'll be waiting for you. You take your time with what you need, and you can see, and people do show us who they are. And I have to say, even in the relationship I was in that was destructive, the person did show me who he was at the beginning. He did. And, but I wasn't seeing it. So, but I do think that we have to differentiate it. So many of us may have fear from past friendships, family relationships that comes up, and it has nothing to do with the other person. And sometimes it does. So, yeah, I think also
So it's a process of learning, of distinguishing, using that information to make decisions going forward. And, in the moment, it's always difficult. But to be able to have that really solid playbook, to have that information and go, okay, now I have this piece of information about this person, and now I know how to proceed.
yeah, I mean,
Is
I
that
love
kind of the idea?
Yeah, I love how, that neuroscientist that I interviewed for the intuition chapter, Joseph Michaels, how he says, like, consult your intuition, but also your you get information from both, right? The rational, the factual, and then you get from both. But I do think that in certain intuitions, like the ones where I talk about Kushal and how he saved his life in one of the Twin Towers, and he was like, the guards were like, stay, and he said, he just knew he had to go, and he literally left the building as it was crumbling. And so, intuition can also be something that you cannot but do it. And I think we've probably all been there at some point, whether we realize it or not. We were like, I have to go check on my child right now, or I don't know, you don't know what drives you there, but it's a gut feeling, right? Yeah. It's tricky. And it's tricky, right? Is it an imprint or is it an intuition? Yeah. That's where also the meditation and the self-awareness has to grow and grow. And the more you meditate, the more you become self-aware, the more you see the workings of your own mind, and you can differentiate more. And you also differentiate how intuition comes to you, because intuition could come sometimes, it's like, oh, my mind couldn't have made that up because it's so out of the blue, Isabel? Hi, Isabel. Where are you located?
So I was trying to find that unmute button. I'm technically in Venice right now, but normally based in London.
You're in Venice, and Pamela's on a houseboat. This is great. I love this.
Yeah, I had a question. I kind of have two questions, but I guess the main question is around, I'm also a few weeks behind, like Susan, just due to work.
No worries.
Commitments, but I guess all of us are here because we want to be here, and we have self-awareness and things like that. And it's really interesting reading the book and learning all the lessons in it and the studies. And I was listening to, I think, chapter 2 last week, and it was kind of talking about the activities people might do to numb their emotions, things like Ironmans. And that was exactly describing my older brother. And we have a bit of a contentious, I guess, relationship. And I guess my question is, do you have any advice for how we share the lessons that we're learning? And, how do we kind of teach some, I don't know, teaching is the right word, but share some of the lessons in the best way possible, without coming across as like condescending or anything like that to them, and not necessarily remembering all of the studies off the top of our heads.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a great question. And I think a lot of people have that often. It's like, well, I see this person in addiction, or this person, so two things. One, there's only so much we can do to change others or make them more self-aware. But one of the most powerful ways is to model it yourself, is to live sovereignty yourself. Mm-hmm. If people are interested, they will ask you, what do you do? Like, what's your, they will ask you and they'll be drawn to you. If it's your brother and you have a contentious relationship, I think modeling is the one way, but the other is you can share like for me, I shared with you the eating disorder thing and my revelation. I'm sharing that story with you, and then you can take that story and apply it or think about it, but it doesn't, if you're interested, you know what I mean? See if your brothers may be interested. It depends where people are. Some people are like, hey, I'm living my life over here. Like, mind your own business. I'm totally content. Or they're, there's got to be something else. I'm biking 40 miles a day. Like that. I think I shared the story of that veteran who dropped out of our study, and he told us, I'm not ready to let go. He knew that doing the breathing was going to help him let go of his trauma, but he wasn't ready to forgive himself for what he thought he did, which was accidental. What happened there, but he biked 40 miles a day and he wasn't ready to let go, So, yeah. But modeling is huge because people can see about you, they can see, oh, that person seems more free. That person seems more joyful. That person, something about them, And then, so that's why, sometimes people think, oh, like doing all these things, isn't it self-centered or isn't it selfish? No, because you shine up at that, your light is shining brighter. And as your light shines brighter, people are like, what's your secret?
Yeah, for sure. And I think even the homework that we had for today is people have been curious about what this course is all about. So spreading the good word that way.
Let's hear about it. Have you guys been able to do your reflective best self? How many people have been able to do it?
Is that asking our friends, that one?
Yes. Asking, yes. Okay. I how many of you have not? Because it just felt so awkward and it's like, I just can't do this. No? Yeah. So listen, it is one of the most life-changing things. I want to hear from you. Like what was your experience like? Anybody want to share? Oh my gosh, I'm just looking at the chat. All the love for Susan. I'm so glad. All the love, Susan. Look at how many everybody's thinking about you. Okay. Here, Jennifer. Hi, where are you calling in from?
Hi, I'm in Northern Virginia, right outside Washington, D.C.
Oh.
Yeah, I found when I read that assignment, I kind of like had this inner panic, that I thought, oh my gosh, like there's just all this resistance came up. I don't want to do this. And um, it feels like you're going to ask for compliments and all the, and then who would I ask? Do I even have 20 people who know me well enough across, and so I went through all these different phases of like resistance. And it was interesting because the evening I read the assignment, it was at the end of a week, so I didn't feel quite as overwhelmed. And I was also just didn't have the energy to resist as much. And my kids were running around and I looked up at them and I thought, they'll just say stuff to their friends. They'll say, hey, do you like my shoes? Right. It's okay. Right. And so I thought, you know what? The fact that I'm having this much trouble even considering this means I probably need to do this assignment, just to put myself through it. And so I wrote the email probably 3 different times to get the wording so it didn't feel like I was asking too much. And then I tried to think of people in like different categories, people in my family, friends, and then work as well, because I sometimes feel like maybe they see different sides of me.
Yes.
So I sent it all out, just boom, 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 boom. And some people replied right away. Some people were checking in and asking me if they were doing the assignment correctly. And then some people just didn't reply at all. And I had said, feel free if you don't want to. And the things that came in were just so sweet. And they were so surprising. Some things they mentioned, I didn't think mattered much at all. And they remembered them sometimes 20 years later. And so it was just really touching to sort of sit back and look at what they valued. And all the things I've been thinking people might value about me, like I'm good at finishing presentations and I'm doing hard work. None of that was there. It was all people-oriented, caring, fun. It was the human side of things. And I think having been in this world, driving forward, trying to do your best and be successful, when you sit back and you realize they didn't really value much of that at all, that they sort of just wanted that interaction and they wanted that humanity. Part of me was like, well, that's the easy part. Like, it's much more fun to do that. And so it's really kind of been resonating with me over the last couple of weeks, just some of the things that they've said. And it's also opened up dialogues with people I hadn't talked to in a while. And so I found it to be kind of healing and a little bit of a mind twist on what I sort of had built into my vision of success, particularly socially.
Wow. Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing. How many people can relate to what Jennifer just said in terms of the feedback they got? Yeah, it's so amazing, right? Our world tells us, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. What actually mattered was those relationships where you just showed up as yourself and you were this beautiful gift. And 20 years later, people have never forgotten what you've done because you changed your life in that moment, even though you long forgot that moment, right? And you realize like the beautiful gift that you are in people's lives and the light, like we're talking about that light that you have been sharing with people, unbeknownst to you. So beautiful. Yeah, I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. Susan?
I just want to echo some of those things that Jennifer said. You know, obviously reaching out, I think, and asking people this feedback was almost cathartic. And I specifically asked a very broad spectrum of people, many that has known me for a long time. I asked my parents, my sister, my brother-in-law. Interesting, my husband hasn't written back yet, and I'm very curious to hear what he has to say. He's a very wonderful way of expressing himself. But what surprised me, I think, similar to what Jennifer was saying, is it wasn't so much about the hard work. It's about small things that perhaps I didn't realize had such an impact. So I asked one of my Palestinian colleagues who lives in the West Bank, you know, if she had time, obviously recognizing that, you know, what they're going through at the moment is tremendous, you know, and I made it very clear that, please, you don't have to do this. I know there's many more important things in your life. But she talks about the first time she met me, how I was wearing, you know, a Palestinian scarf in the West Bank going through an Israeli checkpoint, for example, and just she thought that you know meant something to her as you know as somebody who didn't know me at the time. And then, you know, others talked about how I brought my kids to work, you know, so it's not just about working hard and doing the presentations, but it's about that one time that I bring my 9-year-old, you know, to an event, you know, that looks at let's say racial justice in the US, and how that meant something to them, that not only did I work in the issue, but trying to teach the children, you know. So it was really very deep, and I was surprised at things that people, that things meant, what was important to people. It was really informative. And some of them I haven't been able to open yet because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm too embarrassed.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? People remember these things and you don't even necessarily remember yourself. Just so you know, having done this exercise, what research shows 1 year out from now, you will still be more resilient. 1 year out from now, you will still be more resilient and you will be less emotionally exhausted.
Just from doing this exercise.
Read everything, Susan. Yes, because
I haven't been able to read my dad's.
How much of our life do we spend trying to prove ourselves? This exercise shows you that you already are complete. You already are a gift to those around you. You know, let you settle into yourself. Rest within yourself because you're already beautiful. Sana. Sana, you want to go? You have to unmute.
I started just talking. Well, I want to give a quick response and just say thank you for the exercise, Emma, because it is so amazing. And the responses I've got has touched me, like Jennifer said, and I cried, and I've been like, and it's helping me to appreciate myself more. I'm actually stopping to acknowledge myself, and then because it's so beautiful to get it from my friends and colleagues, so I give back to them. So I said, you know, thank you so much, and I want to share about it. So it's kind of opened up something totally new. And I think my friends look at me because I'm a go-getter, I'm an achiever, this, that. And so they're starting to see me perhaps a little different. I don't know. But I know my birthday is tomorrow and I'm changing my life now. It's just old stuff goes crap, gone. My life, whatever it is, you know, if I sleep a lot, if I grieve a lot, it doesn't matter. It's my life. I'm alive. I'm happy. My life is I mean, I should go that way or whatever, which way, I forgot which side. So anyhow, my new life starts now.
I love it. Happy birthday, Senna. And 1 year from your birthday, you will be more resilient still.
I will take notes every day. I used to write a lot of diary. I stopped, but now I write. So now I will keep track on improvements and changes.
Beautiful. And it's so beautiful about the reciprocity. You know, sometimes people feel like, well, I don't want to make people go out of their way to do this for me. But then how do you think they feel doing this for you? Amazing. Yeah. It kind of goes back to that chapter on relationships, right? What we do for others, you help others, it helps you. When you serve others, it serves you. This is the secret that nobody, our whole society has taught us. We will be happy when we achieve this, look like this, buy this, consume this, whatever. It's all a lie. I mean, that leads to like a quick high, fine, quick high. But what really brings that lasting fulfillment has to do more with this, right? And so now you have that reciprocal relationship with these people too. And I love that you're giving back to them. Beautiful. Lisa.
So I'm from Vancouver Island, Canada, in,
yes,
BC. Lisa. And yeah, I did this exercise and I was astonished at what people picked up. But there was also a lot of similarities between the personal and the professional life. And what struck me, a few things struck me, but one was the feedback was mostly around how I stood up or spoke truth to power or took on challenging things, activities, whether it's in work or outside of work, like through volunteering, and the impression that left with people. And they were really tough times. And to have it reflected that people saw me as my best self during those times was just, it was affirming. Because, you know, sometimes when you're in these tough states, you're like in stress mode, and to have this reflected back that's when they thought that I was my best self, was really empowering. And a lot of them also said they brought out the caring side of me. And I kind of I'm not like, I'm an introvert, and I'm you know, but just to have that, like, I'm not gushy. And so just to have the people feel that they were cared for was mind opening for me.
Yeah.
And I must say that my husband was also the last one to send his comments through. So I'm there. And also the reciprocating back, and just feeling that I wanted to give that back to people. And it does open up relationships in a different way.
Right? Yeah. So interesting how that can deepen relationships, and how quick we can be to criticize others, but then we can appreciate others and not let them know for 20 years. You know, what happens when you actually share that? So two things, like when you were saying there are patterns. How many of you saw that? Patterns across what people were sharing? Similar things. So what that means is it's a thing, right? It's a thing about you that everyone sees and everyone appreciates so much. So much. It's we are made in our upbringing, our schooling, to be so aware of this, and even our workplace, right? Our feedback. Oh my gosh, I have to improve this. I'm not good at this. And like I shared that statistic that 80% of millennials endorse the idea I'm not good enough across most domains of their life, which cannot be statistically true even. And when you think about how many people do that, when is the time when people usually receive all the compliments? When is that?
It's a funeral. I was thinking about these kind of nice things I would get after I'm dead. It's like,
That's
why are we ready for that?
That's right. It's too late, right? And so just why not take it in now and understand, like Lisa, like I'm really powerful. Like who speaks truth to power? Only someone sovereign. I mean, it takes so much courage to do that. And people are looking and are like, whoa, she just said that thing that I thought that I would never be bold enough to share, right? And that's so beautiful. And also, Lisa, seeing caring. Like you don't have to be an extrovert, gushy person to share your benevolence and your compassion with people. People can feel it. That's really beautiful. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thanks.
Prem? Yeah. Prem, do you go by Prem or Fatima? Is that someone? I wasn't sure in the
both
both.
yeah.
Okay.
You work on Prem,
Where are you calling in from again? I forget where you are located.
Helsinki.
Oh, that's right, Helsinki. So
yes. I wanted to share about the exercise that what people replied, either friends or family or coworkers. It was a reminder of I'm sovereign. Because some things they wrote, it was about how I connect with my body, or how I, in certain situations, different kind of situations, they were talking about the connection with my body, or how I interacted with them, or how I show up in some situations, or how resilient I was, or how brave, or how whatever. So they were touching different kind of people. They were touching these levels that we are seeing in this course, and all those words or adjectives, or they were sharing with me that how they see me, or it is a way of saying you're sovereign without them knowing that the course is about sovereignty. So to me it was like they are reminding me that I have that in me, even though sometimes I think I'm not good enough, or I'm not, or so I feel like not empowered or sovereign, but this was a reminder that I have those qualities, I have that light in me. And it was like so I'm really grateful for that.
Amazing. And Jyoti means light, right?
Yes. It was my yoga teacher in India gave me this Prem Jyoti, that when I finished my yoga training there, as a name to work, so some qualities that I need to work towards. So I use it.
It sounds like you already bring a lot of light in, just as you are. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Charlene is an old friend, and remember the story I share about the horses, and how the horse with like equine facilitated therapy, and that's what Charlene does.
Yes. Hi, Emma.
Hi.
So nice to see you
Bay
here.
Area? Are you in the Bay Area?
No, I'm in Costa Rica.
Oh, you're living there now?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I've been living here for 7 years now.
Oh my gosh, okay, I'm behind the times.
Yes, it's been a while. I moved here with my two babies after they were born, so we've been here for a little while now.
Nice.
But I've loved every little bit of the course and going through the exercises. I love doing this this exercise we're talking about now. It was beautiful to hear within my family, especially, one of the things that I find is that I have developed through a long time of meditating and coming in touch with who I am and becoming sovereign through time. That oftentimes it's difficult for them to understand where I'm coming from. For example, when I choose to be a vegetarian, or when I invite them to know about science behind, like, oh, like this is something that's not good for your body, or this is why we should make these other different choices, or we need to take care of our planet and try to teach our children about these things. And I often have felt that it's difficult, like you were saying before, it's like everybody's at their own process in their own time, are learning and living the life that they're living, and you can't always share. People aren't ready to receive what you want to share. But one thing that I did find, at least with my family's comments, that was very nice, was that even though the way that they have sometimes received those has been with a little bit of like a pause, they all said that they appreciated that about me.
Wow.
In terms of like that I was constantly bringing things up that they were not aware of, and that they liked seeing that I cared about the planet, and they liked seeing that I cared about the animals, and they liked seeing all those things. And for me, it was very encouraging, because around them I had sometimes felt pause about like, oh, like maybe I shouldn't share, like here I go again, like sharing something that they don't want to hear. And I feel like it was nice to hear that from them, and it made me I felt a sense of appreciation for something that that I felt was something I truly believed in, but that people close to me couldn't understand. So wow. It was nice to see all of it. It was a point of connection between all of them, and that was special. I also wanted to take the moment just to put a question out there for you about teaching sovereignty to children, because I have an 8 and a 10-year-old, and what I often feel is like the schooling system is undermining their sense of personal sovereignty, and almost like the two forces, like they are at odds with each other. And as a mother who's also very deeply immersed in academia, I was wondering how you are navigating this with your own family, if you could share or if you've thought about that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Charlene. And I love how your answer, I don't know if it helped you, Isabel, to your question, it's interesting, right? About this idea that you're sharing these things and you feel like, oh, here I am being the annoying family member. But actually, even though people may express whatever, it's still sinking in, and somewhere they're appreciating it. So it's fantastic. In terms of parenting, currently my kids are in a school where they're very affirmed. But I have a little guy, my little 7-year-old, who's a force of nature, and he brings adults to their knees, including his teachers, and he has since he's 4. He's just got a very strong personality. I feel like he was, if we have past lives, he was probably a general or something, He doesn't understand why the world doesn't just do his beck and call. So, and I want, I do have to teach him boundaries. Like I need to teach him, like every day I'm teaching him not to chase the cat, right? So, but on the other hand, I'm also don't want him to feel like he's too much, because certainly a lot of adults feel like he's too much. He's not too much. He has more energy than adults can handle. Many adults can handle, including us. I think my husband and I, we really try really hard to maintain our inner peace at all times, so that, it's not always possible, but whenever we can, because then we're able to say and express the boundary without the exasperation or the judgment or the putting down a 7-year-old who could integrate that into his being. But in terms of schooling, and my kids may very well transition to regular public school here soon. And I do think about that a lot. And, but I think that what they're receiving at home is more powerful than what they receive from at school. And you can also point to something that happens at school. I don't know what exactly like you're thinking about in mind, but you could spell it out. In school, when you do this, you get that or whatever, but you kind of have to explain things. So for example, I mean, with my kids, they're very sensitive to the foods in the US. Like they eat certain foods without going either crazy, getting rashes and things. And then they wonder like, well, why? I want to eat at the birthday party too. And then I have to explain like, look, mommy's going to make you food and there's going to be just the ingredients your body likes, right? But then they don't understand. I'm like, I have to explain to them, like, look at the ingredient list. These things they're not going to work. They don't work for you, and I have to spell it out for them, help them understand to have sovereignty over their choices that they're making, so I think kids are a lot smarter, they're so smart. And I think we can explain to them because there are always going to be things in schools, concepts and ideas that are shared that we might not be okay with. And I do think, especially you, Charlene, so loving, I'm sure you have a very close relationship with your kids. You can already start to explain to them, this is what's taught in school and this is what we do. We don't, we may conform here with when we need to, but at home we understand that is just a rule that's there and we actually think differently. I don't know if that's helpful, Charlene.
Yeah, it is. One of the things that I've thought about is, like talking about imprints and beliefs, and children spend 7 hours or 8 hours a day at the school, and so much of the way that we think about ourselves is formed within that environment. And especially both of them have a little bit of neurodiversity, not too much, but the school system is very set and very very much about, okay, this is what you do, and you're good if you're able to raise your hand, and you're good if you're able to answer the questions, and you're good if you finish your things on time, and you're good, and everything is very much around a specific way of like when you fit, and when you don't, unfortunately you don't. And so that I feel like that's where a little bit of the like how do I think about myself in this environment if everything that I do doesn't fit in the box, and then I feel like I'm less. So I'm having a little bit of trouble around that recently. Mm-hmm.
That is hard. That is really hard. And just like Susan put in the chat, socialization, what would life be without normative behavior, right? Not everybody's going to fit. I mean, I know my boys, they're in a Montessori school. I know if they go to public school, my little guy he's not going to sit in a chair for 6 hours, 7 hours. He's just not. And he would probably misbehave because he's a boy with a lot of energy. So what are you going to do? I think the schools are going to have to adapt, but in this situation, Charlene, I don't know if they have to go to this one school, then it's going to be all the love that you give them at home and tell them that it's okay. But it's very challenging. And I think that's why a lot of people are looking for alternative sources of schooling and homeschooling. And it's a tough call. And I don't have any immediate answers for that, but I think your awareness around it is huge, because perhaps others would have the awareness like, no, you need to be sitting in school. What's wrong with you? Like, why don't, you're not reinforcing that at home, but it's a tough call, Charlene. Yeah. Anyone else have any response for Charlene? Yep. Sana was saying, teach kids to think for themselves. That's absolutely part of the sovereignty training. But I think Charlene was saying that they're there for 7 hours and they're kind of, what are they taking in? Yeah. And I think a lot of the imprints that we struggle with as adults, for example, I'm not good enough, I don't fit in, I don't belong, whatever, are imprints that we do take in as kids. Can
I jump in? I really didn't want to because I've already shared Sarah. And a lot of people haven't, and there's time constraints. So
you're good.
Really quickly, Sarah. I was going to put it in the chat, but I'm a teacher, and so I just had an automatic defensive response to. I think what I want to say is that I think teachers, by and large, 99.9% of them love children and want whatever is best for them. And I also am a parent, and I've also experienced some of that frustration. I just want to say, I think that this course is also teaching us, my best guess is, and you probably already have, Charlene, had conversations with your children's teachers about, you know, the autonomy and the differences, and that one of the big messages, I'm a special ed teacher, so the big difference is equality doesn't mean the same for everybody, right? It depends on what your needs are. So I don't know, that just my gut reaction was just like, as a teacher, if a parent were upset about how, like, I just don't want these generalizations made about schools not, you know, doing well by their children. It's all, it's a village. It's everybody has to communicate with one another to make the best world possible with what, anyway.
Yes.
So I'm done. I want other people to talk.
Thank you,
Thanks
Sarah.
for that.
You know, you're awesome. And it's so true. I just wasn't sure also, Charlene, what kind of options you have in Costa Rica, but I hope you can find a good place for them. Yeah. Mike.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I just a quick introduction. I'm an American who's actually been living in Finland for almost 30 years. So I'm calling from Tampere, Finland at the moment.
Amazing.
And I have I guess my brief background is I'm an IT project manager, and also these both are related to it. I've got divorced about 4 years ago. Or I don't even know what the date was because it took some time before that. But both of these things are actually quite related to each other. And I ran into the happiness track on a business trip once, and I was reading it there. And that's what got me into Sovereign as well. I learned a lot of things about boundaries and things like that with the divorce, going through like a divorce seminar, and learned a lot about how I'm going to, you know, how to just be myself, be vulnerable, things like that. And the last 3 years, I've been in IT for ages, and I feel like now at over 50, I finally figured out who I am in that world. And this is strange to say that in IT, people talk about technology all the time, and I was just being myself for the last 2 years, and things seem to be going quite well in the project. And when I hit this Sovereign book and read through this, especially the part where you were talking about the different people who, like, if in the research of the teams that perform well,
Kim Cameron's research,
and they found that there's one person in the team who is often a factor in that. And I just realized that, wow, I experienced that for myself, that is actually just by being myself. It kind of made things much more fun for myself and the people around me. And I've been thinking a lot about
beautiful,
how to, in the IT world, how to spread this. You know, people who don't think about relationships, they don't think about humans, you know, the people, they think about the tech. How to take this message as well, and see if you can get people to sit down and talk to each other and get to know each other, and actually, in a way, you know, the tech is supposed to support what they're doing and not run what they're doing, and get them to realize that it's all about the human beings in the business, not the tech in the business. So that's something that I'm thinking a lot about, especially like trying to think about what would the next steps be. Like some of the, if I may put it this way, sort of very stereotypical male IT guy who is very clear about his technical stuff. How could I get him to hear this message? And I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to start practicing on some of the guinea pigs around me.
Well, you know, again, I think it depends on who you're dealing with. You know, for some people, they're just going to be comfortable not being so relational. But the data does speak for itself. So if you're talking about workplace, you know, there's actually an article that we wrote, Kim Cameron and I wrote for Harvard Business Review. That's a real quick read, and that's easy to pass along. It's called The Best Leaders Have Contagious Positive Energy. The best leaders have, I can put it in, or maybe Sakina can help me put it in the chat. The best leaders have contagious positive energy. You know, sometimes it helps to just be like, hey guys, here's the science. We link back to a lot of the data in a workplace. But again, it may start, like, it sounds like you're already energizing people and you're already playing that role. And then maybe inviting people to do more to have more conversations around this, and maybe it is through social events or one-on-one conversations, but be like, hey, let's make this more human. Let's make this, like you were, many people were sharing from the Reflected Best Self. It's like your humanity is what people are remembering about you, not your technical expertise, and having more conversations, sharing the data. Kim Cameron's also got a couple books that you can read, or, for leaders or for the corporate world, with lots of case studies. His latest is called Positively Energizing Leadership. If it helps, if they're maybe more data-driven individuals, it can be helpful for them. But yeah, you could start with the article because it's just easy read and easy to pass around, but maybe have some conversations around it.
Thanks.
But Kim, like I shared in the relationships chapter, Kim, it was so interesting that he just gave that questionnaire out to everyone in the organization saying, how do you feel after you interact with this person, and created these big maps of how do we feel, around certain people. And that's just really amazing to see how much productivity, how much happiness, how much life there is around people who are more life-giving. Jasmine? Hi, Jasmine. Where are you calling in from?
Hi, I'm calling from California, Irvine in California.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I think I feel compelled to share. I didn't do the best of myself of exercise because I haven't gone through, I'm not able to cross that comfort level yet to send it to people. But I really do think about it like, oh, you know what? If I'm really in a life crisis, I might reach out people. Just so if I need that line, just to hear, just to see what they see me and to help me hang on. I was like, I need them to do that exercise for me. But right now, I'm kind of not comfortable yet to send it out, but hopefully one day. But I think I was reminded, what did I say this? I was reminded that I think you also, last session, you bring up a point about happiness. I think you're summarizing sentence. You say there's two factors to ultimately achieve happiness. And one of it was also to help other people, right? I remember that's the second part of it. Yeah, one of it is to help other people.
Yeah.
Yes, compassion and self-compassion, both way. And I think with the best self exercise, I keep thinking about this thing because last year I starting to keep a journal collection page, and that just lists clips of memory that the strange, I call it angels around me. That's kind of strangers, like in my life out of nowhere, some stranger encourage me. And then that I remember. And I will write it down. Before it's all in my mind, because it all it resonates with me so strong, but I decided to write it out because I forget them, And I think so I wanted to remind people who did the exercise already, so brave, but maybe also to pour it at a comfortable level at the right moment, do that to a stranger. Maybe you wouldn't know that they would still remember like 10 years later that, oh, you write. Not even just stranger. I think one of it is people write on the card that just says, oh, your smile. It's a happy birthday card, but it just write, oh, your smile are like sunshine to me. And it's my coworker that we barely, like, he's so shy, we don't talk, but it's been years later, he will, oh, I think it's a goodbye card, like, because I'm leaving, and he just sent it to me like, oh, your smile is like sunshine to me. I'm so happy to see you every day I walk in. And I'm kind of like, oh, I rarely talk to you because you're always so shy, because he's a Japanese researcher in our lab before. And I think one more story I just thought so memorable. I think, that's kind of like a lifeline that I hold on to, resilience. Like when I need that resilience, I thought about that story. I was leaving like at work, the worst day, like the worst period of my life during my work life. So very difficult time, very difficult period. And then I'm about to leave, and then on our clinic site, it's a new building, so people keep getting lost in that same floor looking for the suite. So it's a medical building, and then so I've been helping several people already through the week that I was there for my work. But that day, so it's really natural that people come out. If I saw them keep looking lost, I will help them. just because I understand a lot of things are going under construction. Suites are moving and they didn't know on their paper that they were looking at. So this guy, okay, he's in white robe, so he's probably a doctor. But anyway, he's older, so that's why that population just there to seek help. So and he's showing me the sign. So I ask like, "Oh, do you need help?" Very naturally. And maybe it's not his good day. He's having a bad day too. So he was saying like, "Oh, I don't need any help. Like I can do this myself." Like something I don't remember, but the attitude was very reactive and very mean about it. But I was like, it's okay, because I'm really easy to think that people are just having a bad day. It's not their normal behavior. So I just like, oh, okay, that's good. You don't need help. That's fine. It's just that people are feeling so lost right now. So I wanted to help. And I walk in and there's another gentleman who is also in the elevator, holding the elevator. So it's just two of us. And then he gave me this sentence that I always remember. He just said, tell me, it's okay, don't worry about it. But do not let this change who you are.
Oh, beautiful.
He just said, do not let this, he said, oh, he's so rude to you. And that's not acceptable. But do not let people change who you are.
Mm.
And then I just because it's a random piece of statement that, because we don't know each other, and for people to say that sentence, it's kind of, right? Like, I feel like we already talked for 10 minutes and they would tell me like, oh, do not let people change who you are. And I think during that time, my struggle was like, oh, I cannot be my authentic self because I keep having to shave a lot of it off to fit in or to do this, to be like that. And then so I was losing my authenticity. So for that person to use it to in that moment to say that word, and I just really I didn't, I don't want to be too awkward. I just, oh, thank you for that. I remember.
That's so beautiful, Jasmine. I love that. He saw who you were and he told you that. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm sure you would get a lot of amazing feedback in your reflective best self, Jasmine.
No, I just want to encourage people to do that.
Yeah, well, I think and hope you also encourage everyone who's here who received that reflective best self, feedback to remember, like, let that be a reminder to not let that change who you are. Yeah, that's so
Thank you.
And those angels in our lives. Yeah. And we can be that to everyone we meet. It reminds me of a story I wanted to share. I don't think I shared this in the book, where I was in New York City and I had to get in a cab to go to the airport, but I had to pick up a package. Did I share this story? I don't think I shared it in the book. So it's rush hour and the cabbie's like, I don't want to stop anywhere to pick something up. Like he was really mad. And I said, no, my friend left this box with her doorman. Like, I'll just really quickly grab it and come back. It won't take any time. And he was really angry about it. But then finally he stops and I go in. And of course, my friend hadn't sent the box down to her doorman. So I have to call up and get it. And the doorman looks at me and he looks at the cab driver and he's like, that guy is so angry. Are you really going to get back in that car? And I said, well, I have to go to the airport. Like, I have no choice. He's like, the guy is so angry. The car is actually vibrating. Like, that guy's upset. My friend takes her sweet time, bring me the box and everything. So then I get back in the car. The guy is fuming. I mean, fuming. And we're taking the highways around New York and he's speeding and it's like scary. And I'm sitting in the back of the car. And the thing that came to mind to do was the loving kindness. And I'm sitting in the back and I'm saying, may you be happy, sending that to him. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you feel at ease. Just loving thoughts. That's it. Like, what can I do? I'm in the back of the car with a fuming guy. By the end of that cab ride, he was showing me pictures of his kids. Like, we had connected so much. Mm-hmm. And, there is something that is beyond words that we connect with others. Just like Jasmine, that guy in the elevator, he saw her light, he saw what she was doing. And he communicated to her, just be who you are. You're beautiful. But there's a lot that happens below the surface, between the words, without words, that is how we approach life. And like Lisa is like, oh, I don't feel like I'm gushy and all that, but like, you are transmitting your heart in other ways. People are feeling your benevolence, and that is making all the difference. And that's like, you don't have to change who you are. You don't have to become gushy. You don't have, no, who you are is already so beautiful. So
Right.
beautiful. Oh. Bob, you want to share something?
Yes, just how much I appreciate this course. I'm just getting over a cold, so pardon my voice, but I'm an 85-year-old former business consultant that traveled all around the world, mostly with IT, Mike. And my passion has been how to bring the sovereignty of the individual to work. And I believe that you've nailed some really important things that unless not every work environment is going to be able to, I'm an idealistic, romantic, idealistic person because I have these ideas, and I was a very successful leader of new businesses and starter of nonprofits and so forth. And now at 85, I've been told that I have some medical issues, and I'm going through a transformation that is I'm in, and things I've learned, and it's very helpful to me, and I want to thank you for that. And I think one of the most important world was the energy and the young people that I was leading to grow a new business. And this is the faith they had in me as their leader. And it just transcends everything else. And we don't have that many leaders in business today. It's all about money, money, money. And if you can give these anyone that's in the work environment, my focus is on I and we at work, and I feel that the thing we haven't learned to do is work together as a we, and we haven't given the individual the sovereignty that they need to have, and your book helps do that. And it's helping me refresh things that I need to do. I just want to thank you all for your honesty and hope, because there is hope, and you're starting to give that through all your work together. So thank you for that.
Thank you, dear Bob. Thank you. I'm glad you're able to revisit the meditation and so forth, and I really hope your health issues resolve quickly.
Thank you.
Well, it's been really nice to be together today. Is there any final thoughts or questions? I did want to mention that a couple people are interested in learning the sky breath meditation as a group here. So I've got, I think, a couple people. I don't know if it's people who are here on the call, but if you're interested, I think I'm going to get an instructor that I know, so that can be within this class, someone that I know to teach them. So if you're interested, let us know. You can email the course help email. Hi, Susan.
Hi there. So I'm way behind. It is what it is.
No problem. Nope, there's no behind or not. And someone was asking, I think I'm going to launch another course in April. So if you're like, oh, I just couldn't do it, like, just come to this next one's fine.
Well, I may take you up on that, but there isn't any reason why I can't stay focused on this. And I'm still in module 1 and having a good time. Good. I appreciate your meeting today. This is my first in-person in Zoom meeting. So, amazing. My takeaway from this is, okay, Green Bay. And having come from Illinois, I'm kind of Midwestern, so I do bring all my love and compassion to the job. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Mike. I'm an IT background, and I love working with people, so I'm kind of unique in that way. And like everyone on the call, I'm trying to come to terms with that's who I am and being okay with that. So everyone's stories, I much appreciate hearing them. I'll be back, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. So glad. Have you done the reflective best self exercise?
Not yet.
Okay, everyone who hasn't, I hope after this call you're inspired. Just go past that comfort zone and realize that the people that are sending recommendations for you are people who are getting something out of it too. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Thank you all, and thanks. I'm so grateful that you're getting a lot out of the course, and yeah. And please feel free to use the forum. Yeah, it's hard to navigate. Like even the other day, I didn't even see Prem. You had put a comment. You had put a comment, and I failed to see it because you actually have to click on each comment, and then you see the responses. And so then you can ask questions or answer others. And also you can email course help at that email that's on in your course, and that if you ever have individual questions for us. Wonderful. Any final thoughts? Otherwise, I will wish you a beautiful weekend and look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. And yeah, take the course at your own speed. Don't worry about it if you're not up to. This doesn't matter. Anyway, we're going to do this again, and the course isn't going away. And you're welcome to come back for the next iteration, and any of you and all of you. It's not a big deal. Actually, it's nice. You'll be supporting the others, and we're doing it the first time. So,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Have a beautiful weekend.
So much.
Thank you so much, Emma.
Yes, my pleasure.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. That was great.
Bye.